Hello everyone, so myself Varun Agrawal, I'm the Agile consultant and we are in the session 3 of our Agile transformation. So in the previous session we talked about how the society evolved, how the humans evolved, and in the continuation we will be having the session 3 today. So we have seen that our society has evolved from the very ancient time to today, and the humans are evolved, and now the overall things has become complex. So humans are complex, the today's time is complex, society is complex, everything is very fast, everything is very rapid. So in today's time there is a different way of work which is required to tackle all these complexities. In the same lines, there are two things which we will be talking about in this session, and then we shall try to connect the things. We shall try to connect the dots. How how the need of agile is arising and what agile can do for us in today's time. So if we talk about the two things today which we are saying, so the first thing about that is one is VUCA. So let's discuss this first and then we'll come to the another thing. Now, what is this VUCA? So this term was again used by the US Defense Army. So what they said that the today's time means in the context of the war, in the context of the battle, and they are talking in the 1980s. So at that time they are talking. So they said that the things have become very volatile, very uncertain, very complex, and very ambiguous. So there is a different kind of strategy required when they are fighting the war. So different kind of arrangements are required. So one thing is that in today's time everything is becoming very complex, very uncertain, and it is very difficult to predict. So we need a different things, we need a different arrangements to tackle those complexity. So this is one thing is VUCA, the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. This is one thing. So the same thing we are experiencing today because socio-political and economic surroundings are changing, are very VUCA, and that's why the same reflection we see in our products. So the requirements from the customers, the people around us are becoming very VUCA and becoming very complex to tackle. Now, another thing which we are discussing today is a one matrix. So let's draw this graph. So as you can see, this is the 3D graph, the X, Y, Z, and on these three axes we will assign a few parameters. So, but before that, if I ask you what factors do impact the development, let's talk about the software development. So what are the factors which can impact the software development? So if you think about the factors, let's say the changing priorities, that can impact the resource availability or the people availability or the skills availability, that is one thing. Another thing is the costing. Another thing is the vision of the product, which if that has been changed. So these are the few things. There are other parameters as well, the organizational culture, that also impact. So there are many things which impact the development. So if we try to classify all these parameters, you will see there are the three things: requirement, technology, and people. These are the mainly three classifications in which we can put all these factors. So if we keep all these three parameters onto this graph, so let's say this is people, this is technology, this is requirement, and this origin, this talks about the stability. fix. Simple. So means if these technology requirement and people are close to this origin, the things are very simple, very stable, very fixed, very predictable. So we can see. But if we are moving away from the origin, then the things are becoming complex. Things are becoming dynamic. If we are moving forward, then the things are becoming complex and dynamic. So in the previous session, we have understood that things are becoming complex, things are becoming very unpredictable today, and we have seen this VUCA as well. The things are becoming very uncertain, very complex. So if we try to figure out where are we lying on this graph, so let's say this is the area which is very close to this origin, and if we try to draw a circle here, so this is one area which is very close to the origin. Now if things are becoming more complicated, let's say we are moving far away from this origin. So if this is the area, well, we are moving a little far away from the stability, then this become another zone. Now if we talk about, if we go more away from this origin, then what happens? Let's say here. This is another zone. So we have seen the three zones. This one, and this green zone. And then finally there is one more zone, which is very far, and we actually do not know about that, what will happen. So let's say a very far away we are having that zone. Now we have the four zones now. Okay, and if we see, one is very closer, second is a little far, another is very far, and the last zone is actually not seen where it is. Now if we classify, if we try to find out the things into these zones, so what happens? We see the things are very simple here. Very simple. There is means all the three parameters, technology, people, and the requirement are very fixed. There is clear-cut understanding of what we need to do, the clear vision, and there are not much changes which are coming our way. But as soon as we move away from the origin and we are coming to this red zone, then what happens? We try to see that there are most of the things are fixed, but there is still, let's say one parameter out of these three is becoming complex. The two are simple, but one is becoming complex. So things are complicated here. Then if we are seeing this green zone which has the boundary from here to here, so all this zone, so we have seen this is the zone where most of the things are complex, where most of the things are not predictable. These are very fast, very rapid, and very uncertain. So this becomes the complex zone. And this zone which we are talking, which is the very outer boundary, so there is nothing we know about that. We just know what we need to do, but we don't know what technology, what kind of people, what kind of requirement will be there. So that is very unpredictable, very less known about that. So we call this a chaotic zone. So let's say the chaos. So these are the four zones. Simple, जहाँ पे चीज़ें बहुत simple है, very clear cut understanding of everything. Complicated, most of the things are simple, but few parameters are becoming complex. The complex zone is most of the things are complex, so we need a different kind of understanding, different kind of way of working in this zone, so that we can tackle those uncertainties. And there is a chaos, we don't know much in that zone. So now in all these zones there is a different type of work which is required. Now if you try to correlate this with the society we have seen earlier, so this is the simple thing. So what is happening here, the society is very simple. There is not much uncertainty, there is not much complexity, the things are falling here. But as soon as the society is becoming complex in today's time, so everything moving to this zone. So the things which were working here might not be working here as well. So we needed different kind of working environment, different kind of way of work required in this zone. So if we see simple, that was the zone where we use the waterfall. We can plan everything, we can do as per the plan, completing the one phase, requirement development testing, completing the one phase and then moving to the another phase, the sequential kind of way of work. Now this is the complex जहाँ पे बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो कि हमें पता नहीं है, uncertain है. Then agile is way of work which can work here because it works on the experimentation, it works on the experience-based learning, it works on the empiricism. So this is the zone where we try to do the things and then have the understanding what can be done in these zones. Now this complicated is where most of the things are fixed, most of the things are simple, but still there is a little complexity involved. So based on the nature of what we can understand waterfall or agile, any of it can work depending on the nature of work. And there is a chaos, so there is nothing, there is a more experimentation required, there is a more learning required to understand to make these things into the complex zone and then complicated zone also. So as we see today we are in this complex zone where most of the things are not very clear. These things need some some way of work where experimentation is required, where learning is required, and based on our knowledge, based on our experimentation, we can take the decision. So that's why today we feel the need of agile, and because it is changing, it is the different from the simple environment which we were having around 50 or 60 years ago, and that's why it is agile way of work which can work today, but not waterfall. Still, if we have something today we have some kind of requirement which are very clear and we know actually everything about that. So also waterfall can work there as well. It is not like we are here, so we are in a complex zone and waterfall cannot work. So it depends on the nature of work as well. If our nature of work is complex, uncertain, it is dynamic, then agile would be a good fit. But if everything is very simple, then waterfall will work well. So in previous session we talked about how we move from the simplicity to the complexity, and today we have seen two things: the VUCA world, which which is telling how the rapidness, how the faster is world today, and how the things are changing very rapidly. And then we have seen this matrix. We have seen the four zone: simple, complicated, complex, and chaotic. Now that matrix is called the Stacey matrix. Stacey matrix of complexity, where we try to classify the different zones: simple, complex, complicated, and all. So yes, this is the another reason that because the things are changing, because the things are not same as the 50 or 60 years ago, that's why we need a different kind of way of working, and that is why agile is coming into this picture. In the next session we will see few examples where we can understand more why the different way of work like agile is required, why the waterfall kind of model, traditional model would not be working. So we'll see in the next session, we will just see the few examples, and then I think in the next session or the next session we will close this loose part, because we will have the understanding why the agile is required. So yes, in the session 3, these are the two things, VUCA and the Stacey matrix we have discussed, and we'll see you in the next session, session 4, with a few interesting examples. So thank you guys.